Hey, you! Yes, you, right here, watching this video. Hey, did you know that I am having a giveaway this week? You can go get yourself some DCI inspired stickers that I made myself. Yes, I drew them and now I am giving them away to you guys. I appreciate your support so much throughout this season and this off season. So as a little gift, I'm giving back to you guys. So go enter that giveaway. It is on my Instagram. That is Owen Talks Drumcore. All you have to do is tag 3 friends in the comment section of that post pinned on my profile. Subscribe here on YouTube. That's Owen Does Band Things. And follow that Instagram, that being Owen Talks Drumcore. Alrighty, let's get into this episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest with us. We are on podcast 13. The drumcore season is over, but the podcast is not. Remember to go follow the Instagram. That is Owen Talks Drumcore. Subscribe on YouTube. That is Owen Does Band Things. And follow on Spotify. That is also Owen Talks Drumcore. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the question of the week today is, have you been to any camps at all? If so, which ones have you been to? If you want to share, you can either share if you've made it, if you've gotten a callback, or anything in between. Let's motivate each other throughout this drum corps season and leading up to the drum corps season in 2025. So let's get into it. My guest today is a Vista Ridge High School marching band alumni. He is currently a Cedar Park High School marching band member. He marched with Guardians in their 2023 production, I Know the End. And he marched with Madison Scouts in their 2024 production, Mosaic. He is planning on going back to the Madison Scouts this upcoming summer and is looking forward to earning a music education degree in the future. Please welcome my guest today, Andrew McCarthy. What's up, dude? How's everything going?
It's been going great, man.
Oh, yeah. This guy, those who are not from Texas, he just won the Texas State 5A marching band competition. So big congrats to him and his band at Cedar Park.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
How was that experience, dude?
That was awesome. I remember whenever we get to they start announcing results at retreat, you get that 5th place. We also holding hands together and stuff in retreat. Oh man, it was what a rush of emotions.
Yeah, dude, without a doubt. I mean, and again, it goes back to you already doing this last year. So it's like, okay, are we gonna get it again back to back, or what's gonna happen? Or but
Yeah.
dude, again, congrats. That's awesome. And then congrats. We're filming this, we are filming this on Sunday. He had BOA San Antonio yesterday. Another big competition with a lot of really big Texas bands. So another congrats on that, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. We were really glad to make it to finals there and really threw down, had a great performance on Sunday or Saturday, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All great things. Well, let's get into some little bit of drum corps. What was your favorite thing you did this past summer? Any location, activity, food? I swear in this podcast we've had anything in between. So what's been your favorite thing this past summer?
Well, I'm obviously making finals was a big one. That's I remember that bus ride coming back whenever we got the scores out, and man, our one of the people at the front of the bus named Tung Lee, the absolute goat of the booth section. Man, he was awesome. He put on this playlist of the championship playlist. Started playing all of the best winning music and stuff. I mean, that bus ride was crazy. Going back to the hotels, I mean, it was insane.
Dude, and well deserved at that, dude. Y'all were, oh my God, y'all threw it down. I was like, dude, I mean, and I was just shocked with emotion because I was like, dude, that's so sick. Finally getting into the finals and getting to perform, not just those semis, right? But getting to do that last performance for the crowd, dude, that's a game changer right there.
Yeah. And I just
Do you remember?
remember,
Yeah.
I just remember because finals is so different from all the other ones. And obviously it was big because it was a 7-year absence. So
Mhm.
we're standing in the end zone, and dude, he comes over the announcements after a 7 year absence, and oh, the chills, man. Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah, dude. How do you feel to be part of that team that got got them there? Like, I mean, obviously you weren't there 7 years ago, but like now you're here. How do you feel that this team you joined, you were a part of their upcoming and their rising here in placements?
Well, I mean, over the summer, like obviously during spring training, like we never talked about finals as like a goal. Like obviously people were like, "Oh, things are different this year. You don't know." But then like got that first competition, we're like, "Oh, and we don't know what's gonna happen here. This could actually be pretty good." So just kind of being part of that was something really special. Just because it wasn't like everyone was really working together at it. It's kind of like the show. We were all part of one big mosaic.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, since you brought that up, I do have a quick question. What was your favorite thing about the show Mosaic in general? Maybe some music that you liked, movement, uniform parts, just in general of the show. What was your favorite part?
I mean, my favorite part is probably the props. The props were awesome because they progressed so much throughout the season. Like we started off with plain silver metal, and then we put stickers on one side, stickers on the other side, and just really seeing those props progress was really fun.
Yeah, dude, that's something actually nobody's brought that up, and that's actually a really cool thing that nobody's brought up. But just like well, most course have their props ready to go, and for the most part, they're finalized. But other course, they make it like they step it up how when the season's progressing, they're also progressing their props. I remember who was it? Was it Troopers? I think a couple years ago who did something similar. I know Crown did something similar with their round table last year. Um, just things like that. I don't know. I find it like you were saying, I find it pretty cool too, because obviously, like compared to marching band, it's like, no, you're stuck with these, and it's kind of like that's what you use, you know?
Yeah,
Compared to this long 3 month season that you have with any drum corps, you are developing your show week by week, month by month. And it's I think it's pretty cool because at the end of the day, you're kind of giving every single show you're performing a unique aspect to it. Yes, they might be the same at like this location, but it gives it hints of uniqueness, and you can be like, oh yeah, I was there when they did this compared when they didn't do that at finals or something like that, you know? So I
yeah.
find that pretty cool as well. Alrighty, man. Well, moving on here, I wanted to ask, are there any cool stories during this past season you would like to share? Any, I know people have talked about their San Antonio free day a lot, as well as a beach trip. Somehow that's what like most of the people here have talked about. So I don't know if yours is similar or not, but what was yours?
Well, we were up in Wisconsin, so no beach trip there. Didn't have that, but I mean, BYU San Antonio was awesome. I met like a lot of people from there, like all people from Guardians from before. I met the man, the myth, the legend, DJ Ball there in San
Hey.
Antonio. I had worked with him before, but that was like the first time I actually met him in person. So that was super awesome. But I'd say like one of my funnest like times from the season was I didn't have COVID, but I had like a respiratory infection, so I was put on the COVID van. So like I sat with like a group of like four other people, and that was like some of the most fun times ever. It was
Really?
like flying down the highway at like 90 because our van driver wanted to go home. He was so tired after like a show one time, and it was so fun. You're like we're telling him, he was like, "Hey man, you guys sit down." He was like, "No, I'm tired." And you're like, "Okay." So yeah, it was like, but those people, like those people on there, like I had some like the most fondest memories from the season there.
Yeah, that's good, dude. I'm curious, what would like those conversations intake of? Because I mean, you're there for not a long time, but you're there for quite a bit because you're missing rehearsals and all that, right?
Yeah. Well, like I remember there was a couple people that I didn't know previously. Like there was a guard girl, so I just like talked with her about like just who she was, and that was really fun. But then it's also just kind of like getting to know people's like life, you know? Like stuff you don't really have time to get into during like the normal rehearsal day. Because, we're like sitting there, we can't do anything. So just
Hmm.
start talking.
Interesting. That's cool. I mean, hey, those are gonna be your guys, man. Your guys and
Mm.
girls right there. That the people that stick through it with you. And I mean, shoot, they just talk about life, because
Yeah.
like you were saying, I think DJ spoke on this a little bit too on how like he was also on the COVID list right there. And I mean, that's where he got to talk to most of his friends because I mean, you're just so dedicated for the grind and the show where you kind of forget at times that you like, yo, like these people are humans too, and like they have a background too. And I think that's a pretty sweet thing that I mean, yeah, you get in marching band, but also with drum corps because I mean, you're all there because you like drum corps.
Yeah.
um so like I don't know, that's also like a pretty cool thing to me, just trying to find how other people found out about the activity or um I mean anything, how they got there. I think that's a really cool part of someone's history.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are there any other stories that you would like to share? Any rehearsals or show stories that you might have encountered?
Um, I'm not too sure. Allentown was a crazy show because we actually got to perform at Allentown. So remember that was like, so obviously we had the cadets tribute,
Hmm.
and oh my gosh, that crowd. After we did that, we played like our mellow feature, and they like stood up, and we were like, whoa, okay, awesome.
Nice.
Because Allentown, that was a really special show. Sad like the day two didn't get to experience that, but I'm glad I got to experience it because that was really awesome.
Nice, nice. You brought up the cadets and I forgot about like all that. But remind me what because Madison Scouts was one of the corps that did something in reference of them, correct?
Um, well, apparently, I didn't know. The Mellophones didn't do anything in reference to them,
Gotcha.
but apparently our low brass did the cadets horns up,
Gotcha.
but like none of the members knew they were doing it. Like I
Interesting.
guess it wasn't told to them that it was the cadets horns up, but we had one of our techs and our Vish staff march cadets, so she like put it in, I guess. I don't know.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Because yeah, I remember. I don't remember what corps, but I remember cadets members would wear like their corps jackets in like block or something, or there was a shako like a shako in there. I don't remember exactly what entailed, but I do remember somewhere in between those lines, there being references to the cadets, which that's, I mean, itself of having those things that you said, like, dude, that's insane. That's cool.
Yeah, that's really
I
awesome.
Heck yeah, I think that's what it's all about because I bet you could speak on this a little bit more here in a sec, but um did you find any like friends from other course that you would like end up hanging out with or talking to throughout the season that like you're like, oh shoot, like man, we do this, but like they do that, and like at the end of the day, you're all doing drum corps, but you're doing it at a different, I guess, environment, if that's the correct word. I guess my question is, did you end up finding any friends this past season that you were like, oh shoot, like that's pretty cool of what they do?
Yeah, there were definitely a few people. Um, the main way I made friends was through connections I had, like through Cedar Park. There was like some seniors who had graduated that I didn't know before, who were at like Blue Coats and stuff. So I met them, and I got like in through like all like some Blue Coats people that I knew. And obviously from Guardians, like a ton of those people went out and marched different corps. So I was like, the people like Cavaliers mainly was a big one, and I was like, because Cavaliers, dude, they had some crazy stuff. And I remember like after. Shit, I don't know what it was, the like July 3rd show, like day before July 4th. It was the first time we had a show with Cavaliers, and I met most of my friends. They were just telling me all the crazy stuff the Cavaliers would do, like all the crazy traditions. And it was just so cool to see, like, in the end, yeah, we're all like sitting here rehearsing, but we're all getting better at our shows, but they're still doing crazy things that we couldn't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's what's up. Um, that's a unique thing of what you said with the Cedar Park senior or not seniors, but like alumni and stuff like that. Because that's something so they can relate so easily on and just being like, okay. we all made it here now. Like we're at this point in our life. Like that's pretty cool to see that y'all all came from like the high school level and progressed to a higher level of marching. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's sick. Alrighty, man. Well, I did want to ask a little bit during your time in 2023. Do you have any cool stories you would like to share from 2023 summer?
Um, I don't know. I haven't thought about Guardians in a while, but it's been a minute. Honestly, Denton was a crazy show that year because obviously we were from Dallas, so whenever they announced, from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, the crowd was going crazy because they were like, "Oh shoot, it's a Dallas team, let's go!" So like we finished our ballad and they started like cheering. Our ballad ended like with like soft chords and stuff. Like everyone stood up, started cheering, and it was just such a cool show, such a cool environment.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Because
That's what's up.
yeah, no one else was cheering for the little open class team like they did.
Dude. Hey, Dallas will do it, dude. We got some of the good bands around town. Like, hey, we love marching band here. I know from you're from Austin down at Cedar Park, but like I mean Texas in general. Let's be honest here. Texas in general is so like I mean competitive. Supports their marching band so much, which uh
Yeah,
leads to reactions like that, which I think are pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, what was one of your favorite things from the show in Genesis 2023? Do you remember any musical moments, uniforms? Again, kind of like Mosaic, but
Honestly, our closer was so fun. It was oh shoot. No, I forgot the name of it. But it was by My Chemical Romance. And it
gotcha.
was like such a fun place. We had like one part where we just doing mellow rips up and down and just like the choreo was just rock out. And so we're just
Yes,
like
sir.
rocking out, dancing around, playing mellow rips, and it was one of the most fun parts of that show.
Yes, sir. Dude, I am a fiend for good mellow licks, bro. I love, bro, if I could play mellow, bro, oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Dude, yeah, I can only wish I could do that, but listening to it, dude, it's so awesome, bro. It's one of the coolest things ever in drum corps. Heck yeah. Alrighty, dude. Well, I did want to ask, what inspired you to march drum corps in 2023 with Guardians?
So this is actually a really like crazy story to me. So originally, so my school Vista that year did a drum corps watch party, and I
Mhm.
like originally it was my first time I ever seen drum corps, and I originally wasn't going to go to it because like they released a poster for it, and it was a picture of some like marimba. So I was like, oh, I guess it's some percussion thing because it's like drum corps. I probably won't go. And like one of the seniors was like, no, you got to go to this. You got to see this. And I was like, whoa. Like, I sat with like the trumpet section. They were like, oh, it's so high, trumpet screamer. And like, so I was like, first experience with drum corps was that. And then I was like, I bought the Bluecoats packet that year. I knew at that point I was 14 and I couldn't march Bluecoats, but I was like, I'll send in a video and get some feedback because, you know, always trying to be a better musician. And then I remember one day I was in the practice room and these two guys, Michael Vangeli and Nate Ponce, like two of my absolute homies from Vista, walked in and said, "Hey, we're going to a Blue Knights camp in San Antonio. You want to come?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that is, but let's go." So then I showed up there and I got a call back, and I remember we like all walked out of our audition rooms. We were like, "Call back, call back, call back," and we got like jumping up, screaming and stuff. It was the coolest experience ever. And then I didn't make it that year, but it was still like that was my introduction to it. And then I got told by my director at that point, Mr. Santos, Zach Santos, who he marched Guardians. He was like, "Hey, check out Guardians. They're a corps right there, in Texas. You should check them out." So I went there, got the contract. The rest is history.
Nice. Yeah. Oh my God, that's sick. Dude, I mean, hey, if any band directors are watching out here, bro, put yourself out there, give your kids a drum corps watch party because I was the same way. Uh similar way. I wasn't exposed to drum corps via the drum corps watch party, but it was like during the drum corps season that like my friends were talking about it and stuff like that. Which ended up leading to me attending the watch party. But either way, a lot of people say that they first, I mean, hear about it because of those watch parties. Um, so hey, if any band director out here is watching, host some drum corps watch parties. And maybe puts a Hornline member in those posters so people like Andrew don't think it's just a percussion event. No, because it's totally understandable, you know?
Yeah.
Which year was that you watched? Was it 22?
Yeah, that was 22.
Oh, nice. So was that your first oh, I mean, yeah, right. That would be your first time like just in general exposed to drum corps.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What was your favorite show that year? Do you remember?
Verse the Revelations.
Hey, that's what's up. Did you attend a in-person event for that year?
No.
No. I guess that would make sense because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had never watched drum corps in person until you actually performed in it?
Yep.
Interesting. Interesting. I never heard that one. That's cool. So I guess that's a good question to lead into. What were the differences you noticed? I mean, going into your first drum corps show, being like, oh shoot, this is different than high school marching band, you know? What was that shift for you?
Well, the first thing was it wasn't parents. This is like actual like fans of drum corps, it wasn't just like everyone's mom and dad showing up in the stands. So like, the crowd just reacted differently. Like the crowd knew what a show was and knew what parts were cool and what parts, were supposed to not clap at. You're supposed to just listen. And so I mean the first show was just really cool like that. And obviously, UIL is super strict with timing of things. So just like, show up when you want, warm up when you want, and hey, get to the field at this point, I guess. It was just super cool just being like able to relax on a show day.
Ah, gotcha. I see. Interesting. Yeah, I had who did I ask that? I think it might have actually been Jackson, maybe. About that shift because I know there's a lot of people who watch the podcast who are younger. And like you were saying earlier, how you bought the packet when you were 14, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's people out here that want to march these high drum corps at such a young age. And don't get me wrong, it's totally like if you fit the like position, like you can do it, dude. Like, dude, trusting yourself, practice the material, like you can do it. Um, but at the end of the day, like I guess we were talking about the difference between high school and drum corps is pretty significantly different, you know?
yeah,
Just because you are so good at this in high school, doesn't mean you're going to be the same in drum corps, you know? Maybe in some parts, but shoot, simply itself, the dance in drum corps is over the moon different than what you get
yeah.
in high school, you know?
Mhm.
Or any choreography. What would you like to speak further on that point?
Yeah. So obviously it was a big shift for me because one of my biggest comments from camps was like I looked way too uncomfortable during like dance stuff because I was never done anything like that before. So I would always just like take a dance class. I did that and it's gonna be uncomfortable because there's nothing more uncomfortable than like being in a dance class with like other 20-year-old women and it's just like they're all laughing at you. And it was the most uncomfortable thing ever. But it made me a lot better at dance. So I really appreciate that.
Nice. So go take a dance class, guys. Heck yeah. No, that's a super good comment actually to mention during I know in preparation for drum corps season right now. Um if you don't let me rephrase that. If you plan on marching next year, uh shoot, go to a camp. I think I've said this like enough on this podcast at this point, but go to a camp uh because it's nothing like you think, I guess. Because you go in there and the people like it's weird. It's funny. It's like a reunion between the vets, but also they are so welcoming to you. Like anybody. Like they're not like, oh no, like this guy's this guy's 16. Like, why is he here? You know, like that's not the vibe at drum corps. Like the vibe at drum corps is shoot. that guy's 16. He's good. We want him, Like
Yeah.
that's the type of people we want in the activity. Um, so I guess this leads to my question. How did you feel going into Guardians with the vets, and how did they welcome you into the activity?
I mean, it was like super welcoming. There was never like a thought of like, oh, this kid's gonna be too young because obviously I watched Guardians at 15. So it was never like a thought of no one came up to me and said, "Hey, you might be too young for this. I would wait till later." It was always just like, "Wow, man, that's super cool you're doing this so young." And it was just such a welcoming experience because obviously, people just want their homes to grow. No one ever wants it to like, oh no, we want the only old people to stay. People just want it to grow, so they do. Always welcoming in people.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. I guess to lead to that too, how was the transition between Guardians and Madison Scouts?
Well, it was different. It kind of felt like I was being a vet without being a vet. Because obviously when you go from a rookie, when you finish your first year, you mature a lot. You change a lot. So I was a rookie with scouts, but I wasn't a rookie to drum corps. So I had, gained this ability to have an open mind of things while also still, not being my first rodeo. So I was able to, I feel like, learn and progress really fast while becoming accustomed to the cultures of scouts.
Gotcha, gotcha. And would you say that helped you out, I guess, going into a top 12 core, your pass with Guardians?
Yeah. I remember one of like the biggest advice I had ever received whenever like I didn't make it to Blue Knights in 23 was like go march open class because when in doubt, if you go to like Blue Coats or whatever, they're gonna take a kid who has marched somewhere before but isn't as good than a kid who hasn't marched and is a little better. Because
Mhm.
in the end, a mature kid is better than like a good kid who's not mature.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's definitely a good I guess tip. Because this is what I've heard, but I try to ask everybody because I mean I just like to have different opinions on stuff. Would you say that with, I guess, like you were saying, like you being not a vet at Madison Scouts, but a rookie there, but a vet to drum corps, and you're mature at this point, would you say that I guess how do I word this correctly? I guess does that give you a heads up on being like, oh yeah, like I can. No, that doesn't make sense. I guess to what I'm trying to get at is when you did your shift to Madison Scouts, did you feel more inclined to being like, oh yeah, I got this, I know what I'm doing, rather than like, oh shoot, like I'm just trying to like get in here, or was it more the opposite of that, if that made sense?
I think it was. I think if you go into it without like the respect of the core, you're gonna think like, "Oh, I got this. This is gonna be easy. Done it before. I can do it again." But I really had to keep it in mind because in my head I was like, "This is open class to world class. Like this is a
Mhm.
difference." So I came in with the thoughts of like, I know what a wall is. I know what it's like to have to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning when you don't want to, and go out and rehearse. And so I knew it wouldn't be easy. I didn't think, "Oh, I got this in the bag," but I knew I knew it was going to be hard, and I knew ways to overcome the hardness.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, that answered my question. Sorry, I really worded that really weirdly.
You're good. You're good.
All righty, dude. Well, did want to ask this before we start to wrap up the episode. Um, I don't know if it is the same answer or not, because you had previously said that your favorite 2022 show was Riffs and Revelations. I don't know if it's the same answer again, but what's your favorite drum corps show that like you said like, oh, that's the type that I want to do?
Okay, this is a very unpopular opinion. My favorite show ever is Blue Knights 2019.
Okay.
Like, so me and one of my best friends, Owen, like me and him could go band for band on like embedded lore on that show. Because like you can watch it once and you get that first level of understand, like, oh, okay, I get this. You watch again, you're like, oh wait. I see a little more now. You see it again, and you're like, wow, this really starts to make sense. Like I can watch that show right now and find new things about it. And that's just
Okay.
and that show like changed my perception of drum corps. I was like, drum corps can like have a story without telling a story.
Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. I like that. I like that. That's cool, dude. I guess that leads me to a question. Do you like more old drum corps where it's a little bit more militant, a little bit more I guess straight to the point? Or do you like the new gen of drum corps right now with more dance and choreography and color and all of that?
Honestly, like I don't prefer one over the other. Like
That's
I
fair.
think any day I can go watch Malagueña, Scouts and have like a great time, or I can watch, like The Garden of Love or something like that, or like Echoes of Camelot,
Uh-huh.
and still have a great time either way. I don't really have a preference to either one.
That's fair. That's fair. Would there be one you prefer to march? Or also the same answer?
To March, I'd prefer the older shows. I there's something about just military marching that's just really like calls to me in a way, but
Hmm.
yeah, I still enjoy watching both though. But marching, I'd prefer to watch an old one.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, dude. No, I don't think it's a controversial question, but I think it's just a question because I know a lot of the vets or like sorry, not vets, but alumni to these drum corps that marched back then, they're like, "Oh, this new drum corps, like it's so much of this, so much of that." Um, well, they do have a point. I do believe that both of them have different aspects of art. At the end of the day, it is an art, that's being created on that field. And I do think, like you were saying, I think the old gen has its art with like the most militant, and just stuff like that. And then obviously now there's just more dance, a lot of story, all of those things that just add more, just a different, I would say, different type of art to the page.
Yeah, agree with
Cool,
that.
man. Yes, sir. Alrighty. Well, as we close this episode out, I wanted to ask, what's the one thing you're looking forward to this upcoming drum corps season?
I'm really looking forward to the vet retention we're having as scouts. Like we have it is an insane amount of like just mellophone players returning. It's like almost the entire section is coming back. And it's like almost the entire horn line, color guard, like people are coming back, and it's really happy to see that kind of flow from season to season.
That's good. No, that's awesome, dude. That's what you want. That's what you want. I mean, honestly, that's what you want. Um, like you were saying earlier, I mean, going into that top 12, you have this group that's so confident in each other. And I mean, a lot of people. And because at the end of the day, this is a group activity, this is a team. And so if you get a full new team, um, things hopefully go up, right? But most likely will fall back or step back a little bit just because it's a new environment. But with so much retention, like you're speaking, that's just going to give out, brother. That's just going to give out even more and more and more because people are now willing. I mean, people are willing to try out for Madison Scouts, but now there's an excuse of being like, hey, you're going to go try out for a top 12 drum corps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. Alrighty, man. Well, I did want to ask, what are three things you would like to give in advice to anyone trying to get into the drum corps world?
I said one, bring a friend. Like anytime I go to a camp, I've gone to like one camp alone before, and I made friends there. Like, if you go to a camp alone, make friends at the camp, pick a friend to a camp, or even if like make a friend at your school who might audition at a different camp. Just like make friends in the activity because those people who help you out with auditions a lot.
Gotcha. Awesome. What would be your second advice?
Um, One quote that helped me out like through my auditions is from Ted Lasso. I don't know if you've seen that show, but be curious, not judgmental. And that was one of
Hmm.
my favorite quotes because like going from like auditioning a different course, like, hey, we do bent leg here, instead of thinking like, oh, my high school does straight leg, oh, my high school's better than this, straight leg is better. You want to make this course, so like enjoy it, be curious. Hey, I mean maybe bent leg is better, let me try that. And I remember like one thing that helped me a lot was I had learned from one of my directors that uh the double cover was like a you made a triangle with your hands, and I was like, yeah, that looks super cool. And I went to scouts, and it was like, no, you make that. It's the same thing as up. It's just open. And then initially, I thought like, oh man, but like a triangle looks so much cooler and powerful. And then I like thought about it more. I was like, wait, but let me think about why do they do like this? And I like thought about it more, and I was like, okay, it makes sense why they do it this way. You know,
Yeah. Okay, cool, cool. Sorry, I want to add on to something. I don't want to interrupt your question, but
that's
I do
good.
want to add on to something for those people who are watching. That is a big, big thing in drum corps. And I think Andrew can attest to this, obviously, because you've marched. Um, in that you have to apply things that they tell you to. Like I talk about this just because my transition between high school and college band. Um, like it's at the end of the day, you have to put yourself to the side. Like it's what's best for the program. Because while like in high school, I marched band like in high school, and I had to go to UNT's Green Brigade marching band, and it's like, no, you march straight leg here. And it's like, okay, well, you got to shift to that. How do you hold your horn? How do you act? Like all these little things are gonna shift, and I think that's a perfect advice from Andrew. Just being flexible, I think, and being teachable. And I like that quote. I like that quote a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, what would be your third advice?
My third advice: keep trying. Like whenever I didn't make it to Blue Knights in like that first year, I thought I was like, oh, that's it for the summer. Guess I'm not marching. And then it was like, boom, I went to Guardians, you know. But like even before I auditioned for Scouts, I went back to Blue Knights again, and I didn't make it to Blue Knights this year. But then I was like, well, I have a, I have a one of my bandits from middle school was the Mellotech at Scouts, so she was like, hey, come to Scouts. Went to Scouts. Obviously, that turned out pretty well, you know. But like when you don't make it to one, like there's always a group that will take you. Like you can always find a home. So don't think it's over after you miss one.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Awesome advice, dude. Awesome advice. Hey, I mean, I like to live the motto of everything happens for a reason, and clearly everything happened for a reason, dude. Uh, not to diss Blue Knights at all. Like I at no mean like they are awesome. Um, but hey, look, you made it
Yeah,
to Madison Scouts, you made it to the top 12. It's something that maybe that wouldn't have happened with Blue Knights. So that's a win for you, dude. Everything happens for a reason.
yeah.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Alrighty, man. Well, as we wrap up the episode here, I wanted to ask, are there anyone, or is there anyone you would like to shout out who has supported your journey throughout these past couple years?
Well, honestly, my biggest shout is probably Owen Salee. Just like a man who's helped me out. Ended up working with him, writing drill for his high school's indoor wins with him. I mean, it was just spare time, you know. Me and him like we just send reels to each other like every day and stuff. It's seeing that notification just brightens up my day every time, you know. It's like that guy helped me out through some like tough times in 23 at Guardians. And then I really want to thank Jackson Kendrick. Obviously, he was on the podcast. He was a big help. You know, he helps like even at high school band. If I get upset during rehearsal, he's like, "Hey, chillax, bro." You know, he helps keep me in check like that. And he's a really good friend for that.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All righty, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I thank you so much again for the advice that you've given here on the podcast and the stories and opening up in general to all these things drum corps wise. I wanted to ask, are there any social medias you would like to plug? If not, that's completely fine. I'm just open floor if you'd like.
I got my Instagram. I think it's like andrew.mccarthy.17. If you want to follow, I don't mind if you don't.
Keep up with him during this new or not new, but this upcoming drum corps season.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, we'll leave you at that. This was episode 13. Super hyped that the podcast is continuing to be shown love. I started this not even thinking like, oh, she's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this for fun, right? And I'm so glad that it's helping a lot of you guys. I've seen it in the comment section, and all that. So. Alrighty, guys. Well, remember to go follow the Instagram that is Owen Talks Drum Corps. Subscribe on YouTube that is Owen Does Band Things, and follow on Spotify that is also Owen Talks Drum Corps. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will catch you next week. Peace.